I've re-recorded this same exact talking point multiple times. I don't even know how to like continue my talking point. I this like this whole show like this whole show I can't even believe this. Honestly, I can't even believe like what I'm looking at. Like I can't even believe what I had to watch. Honestly, I couldn't. It's just now, of course, people are inclined to like what they want to like, but when is there the line? You know what I mean? Um, maybe I'm just the I'm just the morality police or you know whatever like that. But where is the line? This is this. If I'll be honest, right? This to me feels like it just feels this whole concept just feels terrible. Like I don't even understand why this even came out. This is just degeneracy like pushed to the maximum, and it uh, it that because that's literally what it really is. It really comes down to it. When I think about it, it really feels like the most, and none of it is pleasing at all. It's just extremely uncomfortable to consume. Um, Mostly for the fact that you know she's essentially forcing herself onto um, an animal, and it's not just her herself. It's the other characters as well, and um, it feels so strange. You know, creative freedom for sure, but where is the line in terms of creativity? Whereas this feels more like I think someone told me this. I think it's called an ecchi. I think this really feels more like that in comparison to something that like we'd call like normal like anime because and I think the thing is I think there's like two different versions of the show. So there's like a censored one, there's like an uncensored version. I'm not gonna you know, I'm not gonna speak on any of that, but there's two different versions. And I believe that the censored version was made so that it could be able to pass. It was made to pass through various different systems and exist along with other normal animes. Um, and it's funny that this happens because we've seen this before um, with like Redo of Healer being able to be considered an anime for a certain part of time when everyone found out there's like a whole different version and yeah, and you really realize what it actually is supposed to be. My whole thought process on this show, I generally feel like it's terrible. I can't, you know, I don't just watch anime for sexual pleasure. Like, that's not the reason why I watch it. I watch it um to watch it to watch creativity, like to see a story. Obviously for fight scenes and a bunch of other things. It's not just something like this. It's just not. And plus, this is this form of like I just wouldn't consider this to be an anime. This just isn't it. It doesn't even feel like one. It feels so bizarre in comparison to what we all know um is anime. It just feels so bizarre. It honestly feels like an animation attempt, honestly. It feels just so strange. So, I'm talking about this right now because I watched it like a few days ago And I'm honestly at a loss for words. I can't even like. I don't want to go into detail because it just it's just so like bizarre. Like what she does to this like dog is insane. And it's I think the best way someone explained it to me was that it gets worse. Like over the course it gets worse. The anime sort of ends on a note where basically like the main protagonist is like a dog, right? He basically decides that okay, I'll stay in this body because it's better than the life that I actually live, which is I honestly think that's like the worst decision he could have made, but you know, whatever. So he stays in this life with like three girls and him being the center of attention. And it's pretty much that ending to the anime. And so that ending basically opens up room to a bunch of other weird things that may happen throughout the story. So yeah. Um I honestly like don't I don't know like why is this even a thing? I don't even know why this became um why this was considered an anime in the first place. A lot of people were telling me like, yo, I couldn't believe this, this was anime. Like I couldn't either. I honestly like I saw it and I was like, wow. You know, sometimes when stuff happens you just kinda just like you're just shocked. You don't have any words. And that's how I feel right now. It's like I just watched something that's just it, it's so insane. You have literally no words. It just the level of uncomfortableness I felt, it's crazy, and it doesn't help for the fact that when you watch the show at a certain point, the main character that's in the dog state is essentially he's trying to basically like care for people, and his careness is being misunderstood as him making advances, towards these women. Um, and basically, the main girl, essentially the one with black hair, essentially tries to continuously force herself upon him, and just gets worse from here, especially with the manga. And my confusion is that the fact that a studio would even think of animating this, it's really, it, because I personally felt bad for the studio for the fact that they have to, you know, spend the resources to animate this. So that's just my personal opinion. If I'd give a rating for this anime on screen, I'd probably just give it like a 2. Like to me, I feel like it's terrible. It has all the wrong things that are just aren't socially acceptable. We just can't, where's the line? You just can't. I just can't consider this to be something good. This isn't necessarily in good. This isn't even in good faith. It's just all wrong. And yeah. Now, I was I was very unsure about this because I don't want to I don't want to promote this whole thing. I don't want to promote anything that this is trying to push, right? But I want to call out what it is and point out the fact that this was, this came out as an anime and it was able to could be considered as one for a certain part of time. It's not as big as it was before, but at a certain point in time, this was, a big thing. So yeah.